Hi, David Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. This is our first day on the job site, Huntington Beach, California. What we're going to be doing is removing the concrete and widening the driveway. A lot of root damage here. There were some big trees right in these areas. This is the third time they've actually repaired this driveway. However, they never removed the trees, so that's why they had to do it 3 times. This time the trees came out, so this should be the last time they'll have to do it. Look at the damage it did here. It's raised it way up right here. About 4-inch raise up right there. Then down here where it meets the city sidewalk, came up about 2 inches, 2.5 right here. Dig alert's been out here. They've marked the cable lines that come from this box. Yeah. It comes from this box right along these flags, so we're gonna expose that, and then we'll just pull the whole cable to the side when we pass the tractor through here. All right, let's get down to business.
Dave.
Yeah.
Come here.
Oh, is it cut?
No. Is that deep enough?
Oh yeah.
So it starts coming up.
So the tractor, though, it's deep. See, the cable's deep here, so it's no problem. All the way through here, the cable's like that deep.
Yeah.
See, it's underneath that pipe.
Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna go that deep, huh?
No. See, it's pretty deep here. I'm gonna continue this brick this way and then this way.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Oh yeah, it's shallow. It's shallow there. You better expose it back coming this way.
So what, this point right here?
It's just trace it. When it gets deep, you can stop.
Okay.
Cut this. Get that sawzall, Eric. Cut this branch off. Cut it right there with the sawzall. Yeah, right there, man. That'll work. Sweet, 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 sweet. Hey, you want this? Yeah, it's running. Okay, so we got Andy running the head cam and the tractor simultaneously here. This concrete's coming out really easy. This tractor's really overpowered for breaking this concrete, and it's luckily he did have this equipment here because we run into a massive stump, and if it was a tractor, any tractor smaller than this, it would have been pointless to even attempt busting it up. We would have had to get a stump grinder or a bigger tractor at that point. What he did here is he broke it all up with the breaker. Then the semi comes in and then he loads them out as quickly as possible. And the dump truck takes it to a recycling center where they're going to crush all this concrete up, and it's going to get repurposed for base material for roads, other concrete pours, and just in general wherever they need to fill up an area. So what we're going to do first is break up the entire driveway with this breaker, get it into little pieces. The littler the pieces, the better, because they fit into the truck a lot tighter. You actually get more in there. If you have big chunks over 2 foot, a lot of these places won't even take the load if they're over 2 foot big. So I guess it could be 2 by 2 by 2, and they would take that, but just not over 2 by 2. Right here we ran into rebar, so we're breaking that steel out because again, this is one of those recycling situations where you can dump the concrete without steel for a lot less money. Or you might even know a guy that scraps steel and call him up, have him come over, pick it all up, which they do a lot of times. If you got any contacts for steel scrappers, they'll pull up and pick up all your rebar, wire mesh, anything metal. Right down here where they did the patchbacks because of the root damage, they had whoever replaced that section of concrete, they put rebar and dowels and stuff to try to hold back the roots, and it didn't really work. You just can't fight roots or trees of that size. This tree was like 100 feet or so tall. It was massive. And there was actually 2 of them in this yard. And it was pretty much right on the property line, so everything just came right on across. A lot of times you'll see, especially city or public works, they use root barriers. Along the back of city sidewalk, they'll drop a 2-foot piece of plastic wherever they're going to plan on planting trees in the parkway, and in hopes that they'll hold the roots back from getting underneath. Actually, not back aside, they put it front of sidewalk, city sidewalk, so that way the roots won't get under the city sidewalk. But it doesn't really work unless you're planting the right trees. It's all about the trees, the type of trees, the area that they're in. That's the only really sure shot you're gonna get. Up here, there was a little step down, and they didn't want that step anymore. They had about a 3-inch little trip hazard going in there. So we're just gonna ramp it down. Right there, the reason we're saw cutting is to try to preserve that brick planter. That's why we made that cut. We will have to rebuild that corner, however, but we still have all the original brick, and that's the only way it'll ever really match, is by using all of the original old brick that was already there. Otherwise, because you can't match. I mean, you can get the same brick potentially, but we tried to save all these bricks. In other words, we saved a lot of them because on the other end of the building, we reconfigured the brick planter to go to the end of the driveway extension, which you'll see in a later time and date. Getting into the driveway area here, you can see that these big roots went all the way across right into the front lawn of the neighbor's property. And they've all got to be removed. The reason you want to get down, about a foot, if you can get down a foot and get all your organics out, you're in pretty good shape. So and it's good to get them all out. Potentially you could probably leave those in, or a lot of people may leave them in and just get 4 inches of concrete over it. But what's going to happen is that's going to all decompose at some point in time. You're going to have a major void underneath your concrete, and it's going to fail at some point in time. It may last you about 15-20 years though, but it's going to drop eventually. Once that all decomposes, you get a load on there. So it's good to get all your organics out of the ground underneath your concrete. This was somewhat of a surprise, all these things we ran into over here along this edge. We are widening the driveway, however, so this area's kind of been not very well maintained, I guess you could say, for a while. And once you start getting over into those areas, you run into a lot of different things. We ran into the drain line, cable. We're going to clean it all up, put all new in there, all new underground, new drains. And we're going to take it right to the property line. Inevitably, what will happen is the neighbor's going to remove his stumps. He's going to put artificial turf, plus a little hedge along there. We will be over excavating this dirt because we want to bring some road base in here. This soil. Right here, we're wrapping a chain around this bush. That way, in the hopes that we can get all the roots out in one clean sweep. We have to remove that bush because that's the return end of the brick planter, the new brick planter. It's beyond the driveway, but it's right in line with the new brick return on property line. The front of brick planter along that house, that's going to continue over to property line and then return back to that block wall. So they're going to be getting a little bit bigger planter in the front there. So you got a few roots out with it. Here's Giovanni waiting for his load because he loves to drive. Now once we get all the concrete out, we can start spreading the base. And then what we'll do is we'll wet it down, let it soak in for a good 30 minutes, then run the plate compactor on it. This is the second day, and we pulled the string line up, and we needed to clear these roots back a little bit further. So I wanted to have at least a foot between the edge of concrete and these stumps. Because what's going to inevitably happen is they're going to bring in a big stump grinder, grind that whole front yard down over there, and then put artificial turf in. Here's some plastic reusable bender board that I've been using for a few years now. And it's gonna make this radius real nice. Found another root there and a couple damaged sprinkler heads that we replaced. Cut the root all the way back. And that root's from the neighbor's property. It's not gonna grow anymore. What I did was I cut the lawn at the perfect radius that I wanted, and then I just pretty much pushed the board against the lawn and then stake it from the inside. Also, I had the grade right on the money too, so just sets on grade, pushes against lawn, forms complete. Run the plate compactor over this 2 times, and it's good to go. Now here we are, 3rd day, tying up some rebar. This is 3/8 inch rebar, also known as number 3, because it's 3/8. And they're 20-foot lengths. I've got my screed pins set, because before you tie rebar, you want to make sure your grade is right. Otherwise, you got to take out your rebar mat, and then you got to grade, and then you got to try to put it back in. So that could be a real problem. Anyway, thanks for watching the setup. Part 2 will be the concrete pour, and it's a beauty because we do some nice jointing and saw cut patterns on it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.